Hey traders, Cousin Benny coming to you on Sunday, October 6th with your weekly market read. This is a chart of the comp. You can see that we're continuing inside of this. We're continuing in this ascending wedge. And we can see that we had a nice couple of days. We're showing somewhat more relative strength, the SPY, for example. Focusing on the number of stocks trading above their 50-period moving average, we can see we're at 64.2%. NAMO had a little bounce after getting down to minus 25. So we're looking pretty decent on the comp. Let's take a look at the SPX. The put-call ratio, we can see that we got down into the buy zone on the PPO, and we got into the buy zone early in the week on the CPCE. You can see we've had quite a bit of volatility on this particular indicator, and the S&P 500 remains above its 50-period DMA. Looking at the S&P 500 again, we can see we have a number of things going on here. We have this Kirby bar that we're trading inside of. We have the 30-period moving average, which is coming up underneath price. We tested that area and we are holding nicely. We have this trend line that goes back to November, touched the area in June, and also in September, August, September, and now we're appearing to bounce off of that area. So keep an eye on that. The shorter term trend going back to February, bouncing in June and again in August. You can see that's just below price, down at around 1660. Now if we look at bullish percent, we can see that we're hovering sideways just below 80. The NYSE looks like it wants to give us a crossover, so that's a yellow signal that may turn into a red signal. We're going to have to watch that this week. NYMO gave us a little bit of a yellow signal last week, and we're looking for it, as it's down here below minus 25, to bounce back up. MACD crossed over, but you can see the histogram doesn't show the amount of momentum that we saw previously on this down move or this up move conversely. ADX is down below 15, so that indicates a sideways trend. So expect to see the S&P 500 moving sideways here until that indicator breaks back higher. Number of stocks trading above their 50 are at 60%, and we look like we want to bounce here after giving a yellow signal last week. Here we have a chart of XII, the Institutional Index, the New York Stock Exchange ARCA Institutional Index, which is what I really wanted to talk about today. It's a capitalization weighted index of 75 stocks most widely held as equity investments among institutional equity portfolios. The importance is the index is designed to reflect the performance of core stock holdings of institutions. So most institutions, the large majority of the institutions, have these particular stocks in their portfolios. So you want to watch this for buying and selling. I use this for indications on where we might see inflection points or areas where we might bounce. So let's look. You can see the components over here. So let's move down here and you can see the rest of them. I'm actually going to pull up these components in a camera glance. Note the MACD histogram again, like I pointed out on the spiders, or as I pointed it out on the S&P 500. We saw this down momentum, which we haven't hit on this current move down. We can also see where RSI is. We're hovering sideways at 50. Stochastics, slow stochastics. This is 5.1, by the way. So what you're looking at here is a can of glance display of all the components of the XII ARCA Institutional Index. I'm going to enable RSI and redisplay this so you can see what I look at when we are in an area of inflection. The first thing I key in on here is the number of stocks that are sitting on a moving average, or RSI, is either bouncing off 50, emerging above 50, or some of those variables. So we can see Amazon, nice flag sideways, sitting above the 20-period moving average. Apache, same thing. Anadarko, looking pretty good. American Express is below the 50, but it's looking like it's putting in a reversal here on this hammer. So you put these all together and you can start to form a picture of what institutions are looking at. Boeing, sitting right on a 20 period. Looks like it had a reversal day on Friday. RSI has been moving lower, but we could see a move higher. Bristol Myers. So this would indicate I would be looking at pharmaceutical stocks. You can see this flag and possibly breaking above this flag this week. RSI is getting back above 70. Bank of Scotland, Berkshire Hathaway, Citigroup, double bottom here. Keep an eye on that. Caterpillar, triple bottom. Colgate, higher low. Comcast, look for a break higher this week. We have the 20 period emerging back above the 50. Nice on ConocoPhillips here, with the possibility of a breakout on a flag off of the 20 period. You can fast forward through this if you want. I'll probably go through the remaining 75 stocks, but you can start to see a pattern. And we have some weakness in some of these stocks here, which I'd be watching those sectors if you're trading in those sectors. DuPont's getting back above the 50. Almost an outside day on Friday. Disney, a nice outside day candle off of the 50 period back above the 20. That'd be something I'd want to watch on Monday for a trade. eBay, nice move here, sitting right on the 20. Freeport McMoran, GE. You can see where buyers stepped in on these sticks, where buyers stepped in and moved the price back up above the 20 period close. Goldman Sachs, higher low for now. RSI is a bit low, but we'll keep an eye on that. Halliburton stuck between the 20 and the 50. Looks like it wants to get back above the 20 this week, with RSI moving off of the 50. Home Depot right on the 50 and the 20. JP Morgan trying to get back above the 50. With the 20 and the 50 are about to cross, bullish cross coming. You can see some of the Lily's not as strong as Bristol Myers. Remember, that one was one that we wanted to watch. Altria, 3M is something nice. We had a nice pullback here. We didn't get down to the 50, but we're closed right at the 20 period. MasterCard closing right at the 20. Monsanto, don't care for that stock, but you can see where it closed. I don't know why Apple shows up a couple of times. I think it's a glitch in the candle glance. Oracle sitting right at the 20. Had a bit of a doji there, inside day. Occidental Petroleum, really nice trend here. Doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. RSI is getting back above 70. PepsiCo, higher low. Watch the RSI. Pfizer, another pharmaceutical stock, looks like it wants to break higher. We're going to take out this high that we saw back in August. Potash, taking out these highs here could be interesting. Royal Bank of Canada, nice pullback to the 20 for your Canadian followers. Keep an eye on your Royal Bank of Canada. That looks really good for the week. Qualcomm sitting on the 50, trending higher. And our last group on the 75 stocks in the Institutional Index. Schlumberger, nice trend. Looks like it's going to continue off of this flag breaking higher. Suncor, AT&T, nice volume. on Friday. Toronto Dominion Bank, another Canadian stock. Check it out, sitting right on the 20 period. Time Warner along with Comcast. Nice flag pattern. Looks like it wants to take out 67, 68. And the rest, you can see UPS. You want to keep an eye on this because they obviously deliver a lot of packages and a lot of goods. Sitting right on the 20 period after this flag sideways, slightly down. Visa along with MasterCard flagging right into the 20 period. Verizon, higher low. Huge volume here on Friday. So AT&T and Verizon to be watching this week. Wells Fargo, double bottom. I'd look for this to move higher. If it does move lower, that could be an indication that we're going to see some weakness on all of these stocks if they move lower. So you can see what I'm looking at with respect to the XII ARCA Institutional Index, what institutions are buying and selling. Give you a good idea of where we could see the market go in the near term. Near term, I think we're moving higher. Shifting to a candle glance of the spider sectors and a few others I added, namely the banks, IYR, IYT, XBI, XHB. We can look at these sectors for trades coming into the week. The ones that are moving back above their 20 period are the most likely candidates: semiconductors, XLB, materials. We keep an eye on banks. KRE, we traded this very well in the early part of the summer, I believe. XLE, we can see where that is coming back up. Remember, Schlumberger and a number of other oil companies, ConocoPhillips and Occidental Petroleum, remember, we're doing quite well, so keep an eye on that. XLI, you can see that we're flagging out here above the 50. Looks like we want to move higher. XLB Healthcare. And you can see cyclicals flagging right into the 20 period. So look to these sectors for your trades coming into the week, would be my suggestion. What was also important to watch this past week was the Russell and its performance as an indicator of an appetite for risk. If you look at IWM, those 2,000 stocks, which are flagging right above the levels that we saw the index take out in August, okay? Previous resistance became support now. We have uptrending moving averages. From a box trade standpoint, we have the 10 and the 30 period here. We have a box situation where we could see this moving higher. Slow stochastic 5-1 is moving a little bit lower, but that just means we could flag sideways. And you can see strength of the S&P 500 is continuing to move higher. So I'd keep an eye on your small caps and stocks in this index, as well as IWM for a move higher. Keep an eye on your RSI as well. Now, as a member of StockCharts.com, I mentioned the last video that you can create custom scanners, and that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to look at our custom scans, and particularly we're going to look at focus on some things like pullback trades. We're going to look at Dr. Carr's pullback trade scan. We're going to run that scan, and we're going to stick it in a new list. What can I do for you? You came to visit? You think you could be quiet while Papa talks? This guy right here is sitting with me. What's your name? Antoine. Why are you talking like that? Huh? Yeah. Okay, so you're going to be quiet now, right? Okay. So this is Dr. Carr's pullback trade scan, and we can see what setups we have here. 3M, which I pointed out on the XII. Nice flag here. Air Products. Really nice setup on Aon Corporation. Chubb, nice flag on the 20 period. We can see all of these pullback trades look very nice. Estee Lauder, being that the Qs were fairly strong last week. We want to keep an eye on KLA 10 core in the semis. It's flagging nicely on the 20 period. Illinois Tool Works sitting right on the 20. Marshall McClendon back above its 20. NQ, which was doing very well over the last month or so, flagging right at the 20 and sitting closed just above the 20 on Friday. Let's take a look at some of these other ones. XLK, Sector, Suncor Energy is looking good as well. Let's take a look at some other sector trades. Let's take a look at a flat base. Vitamin Shop, decent company. Nice flag here on the 50. Looks like the 20 period cross wants to happen in the next week or so. So let's take a look at Vitamin Shop. We can see that we could break above this level here, in which case we could see a target up here at 49.50 in the near term. We have a crossover. We have a descending pattern here that we appear to be breaking above. So VSI is something I'll be watching with keen interest this week. I want to see a burst in volume on a break. Look, that on balance volume is starting to pick up. Slow stow is a bit overbought, but we could see that in bed. And strength to the S&P 500 is starting to pick up. Let's take a look at, I saw Vivus as well on here. Interesting volume here, not really that interested. Weight Watchers, sometimes it's interesting to trade. Nice flat base here. We could see a pop into this gap area, but we have a lot of volume up here to deal with, so I'm going to pass on that one. And another scan called Momentum Buy Signal with on balance volume and RSI increasing. You can see the criteria here. A short list of names, but let's take a look at them nonetheless. So we can see Sienna broke above this flag. Constellation Brands, same thing. So all of these momentum names have really had a nice move, so you'd be looking for a pullback now or a flag for an entry. But you can see what this scan pulls up. WR Grace looks pretty good. It's still within a buy area here. Let's take a look at that chart. Ascending pattern here about to break out. RSI is back above 70. And we have decent volume with on balance volume continuing to rise. So institutions are buying this name, so it appears. And relative strength of the S&P is continuing to move higher off of this August low. Alright, so that's what I look at going into the week as a typical technique for preparing for the week ahead, managing trades. I currently have some swings on, and I'm particularly interested in what the markets might do. So that's why in the beginning I started talking about where I thought prices could go, using the XII as an indicator for continuation or possible inflection or turning points. Okay? So this is Cousin Benny coming to you from theclosingprint.com. Also come check us out over at Day Trader Bootcamp, where I'm a member at daytraderbootcamp.com. Okay, I hope this helps. This is Cousin Benny coming to you from theclosingprint.com. Take care. We'll see you on Monday.